Now, the role of the private sector in Africa's development trajectory cannot be overstated. Adegoke, Executive Director at the Oando Foundation, joins me to discuss how corporate social investments can impact development outcomes. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Ade.
Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. Now, talking about this subject, how corporate social investments can impact development outcomes. What comes to mind for you? Let's start off with that.
Well, in Africa, when you think of corporate social investments and how they impact Africa, the first thing that comes to mind is, well, what's my forte? That's education. And across Africa and throughout the West, what we've been talking about is how we can ensure that Africa is reskilled and Africa has adequate skills for the future. So with corporate social investments, what we need to do is make consistent efforts and consistent investments across the spectrum of education, be it basic education or tertiary education, to ensure Africa moves forward.
Now, how important is it for you to tie your CSR to the needs of the community, the host community, where the company is? Or is this a case of having a plan, a project you want to work on and just, embark on it? Do you have to take into consideration the host community, or is it much more than that?
It's much more than that. So for us, well, I work with the Oando Foundation. Oando Foundation is a charity that was established by Oando PLC in 2011. But way before that, what Oando Foundation, the seed that started Oando Foundation, is the fact that the government called for private sector to be involved in investments in education in Nigeria. And what happened was the Oando PLC and the Oando Group at the time actually signed up for the Supporter Schools program, started implementing in schools and supporting basic education, because as you know, Nigeria currently has the largest number of children out of school, 10.5 million children out of 33 million children in Africa, and it's the largest number globally as well. So what we did was, beyond the community investments as the Oando Group, what we did was invest in basic education and the learning outcomes of children. And what this has done is led to us not only investing in areas where the Oando Group has assets, but as well as investing in areas of high need across Nigeria. So currently we're in 23 states, and what we're doing in those states is, beyond the learning outcomes and beyond the 80 schools that we currently support, what we're doing is trying to ensure that government replicates, using the evidence that private sector and private and public partnerships work. So as an independent charity, what we try to do is ensure that government plays a part, international community plays a part. We currently have set up a platform for international organizations such as foundations in Qatar, the Educate a Child Qatar, Sumitomo Chemicals in America, to play a part in developing education and reskilling teachers for Africa.
Oh, interesting. But let's, charity, as we all like to say, begins at home. Let's talk about the relationship with an organization and its host community. We have seen, the backlash that has received in the past in terms of taking a look at the relationship or what's been happening in Nigeria's Niger Delta region. Now, when a company embarks on the CSR project, how much of interaction goes on, first of all, with those in the community on what they really need? Does it begin with the company just setting out its mind or a plan on what it wants its CSR to be? Or is it also very important to get a feedback from the community on what their needs really are, so that it doesn't become a case of where you're giving a community what they don't even require in the first place? How does it really work out?
Well, first of all, when you're working with communities, it goes way beyond giving a community what they need. It starts out with participatory planning. What you do is ensure that at each step of the process, before you go into the community to even invest as an organization, and you actually work with the community leaders, work with the youth groups and all the groups there and all the community-based organizations to ensure you identify what their needs are and help them think through what their needs are. So for instance, using an example of Oando PLC, what we have is a team of people who go in to ensure that the communities prioritize their needs, and then whatever the highest priority is actually taken care of. But however, I must make a note that Oando PLC is the private sector, Oando Foundation is the independent charity set up by Oando PLC. And what we do is we invest in education regardless of what the community's needs are, because we found out that most communities may prioritize town hall or market space or something that will give them benefits today. But what we try to do is ensure that they know that for future generations to come, it's not about what feeds your belly today and what makes you satisfied today. It's about what future generations can actually get out of this and ensure that it's a bit more sustainable. So yes, we help our communities prioritize their needs in areas where Oando PLC's assets are through the community relations group. But however, as an independent charity, what we do is focus on education for the communities and for children in those communities.
Well, thank you very much, Ade. I've been talking to Ade Adegoke, Executive Director, at the Oando Foundation.